So, last time, we went with Gabari to go solve the mystery of the river, despite the protests of Reblis saying that it was going to be a terrible idea, and...
Something's not right here.
Imperial soldiers!
We killed the possibly last example of whatever the hell that fish was.
You know, Reblis did say that taking outsiders in your boat was a harbinger of bad things to come.
Easy there, kid.
Right, but like...
Let's just do what they say.
There's being a harbinger of it, and then there's we did it, and then Reblis obviously called the cops. Like, let's not ascribe too much metaphysics where there is none. Let's just keep everything in perspective here.
No one is allowed to enter or leave this premises. Just do as you're told, and things will go fine.
God, they really do sound like cops.
I mean, I wasn't at all joking. Like, literally nothing. Not a single goddamn thing that I said was in any way tongue-in-cheek. Anyway, new numbers?
Yes. We have now classed up to class 3, and that means we have more deck space. We have 5 cards in the hand now, and we can play a 4-card combo. It also introduces another mechanic, but we'll get to that soon.
Man, we are really leveling up the battle system. Slowly but surely. I know, it feels like we're at least progressing the wrinkles faster than, you know, again, the only other real example I have of this kind of thing is Eternal Sonata, which only had so many things to introduce, and like there were like 6 levels, and it spent like the whole game doling them out, and one of them was post-game, and it was really weird.
What on earth is happening here, Reblis?
Don't know. They just came out of nowhere.
Yep, nowhere.
After us?
That can't be. Why would they go to such lengths just to catch the 2 of us?
Wait a minute. You're wanted by the Empire?
Well, I didn't call them, but now that they're here...
You know.
Anyway, it was either him or that other guy.
Never mind. I suppose it's better not to know. Besides, they can't be looking for you.
What makes you say that?
Some of us saw another squadron of soldiers flying towards the castle. It looked much larger than the squadron we have here. Whatever they're looking for, it must be at the castle.
I have a bad feeling about this. What sort of trouble could they be trying to start?
It's already started. Geldablame's ambitions are ravaging the world.
Anyway, I'm going to the castle. Shella, you're coming too, right?
Of course. Let's hurry.
Hold on there. You can count me in too. Don't feel like losing sleep over what happens to you two.
Oh, that's cute. He has a conscience.
No buts about it. I
Or an
promise to
agenda.
take you to the
One of the
castle,
two.
remember? Besides, I'm itching to find out what the Empire's up to.
Yeah, there it is.
Getting there might be a problem, though. They're watching the harbor. It won't be easy getting to my boat.
We'll walk then. Now that the Lesser Celestial River has calmed down, the road to the castle should be open.
True. But how do you plan on leaving the village? They've got the exits guarded. They won't exactly usher us out with a smile and a handshake, you know.
Gonna need some JRPG antics.
Anna told me. There's a secret passage somewhere in this bar that'll take you out of the village.
Yeah, that sounds like that'll do the trick.
Emergencies. She never told me exactly where the entrance is, though. You'll have to ask her yourself.
Where is Anna, anyway?
Well, you see, I kinda lost track of her.
Kinda lost track of her? So much for counting on you to look after her, huh?
Sorry.
In a way, I appreciate that Reblis. He's
Never
coming
mind.
at you, and he's
Let's
you
go
know he's
find
gonna
her.
rough you up, and then Jabari just basically calls him
Shella,
out,
you two
and then
come
it
with
turns
me.
out that actually he really sucks at his job.
It turns out he folds under literally any pressure. Not the most common archetype, but I can recognize it. But no, seriously, why did we get off the boat? Why are we even back here? There's nothing. Ah, subtlety. I feel like this should be voice acted.
Yeah, it really should, but I guess they didn't want to give Captain Warcrimes a voice actor.
Hey, it's you two. And Gibari.
You okay, Anna? They didn't hurt you or anything, did they?
I'm just fine. I just came over here to pick up some booze. We were running low. Why would I be hurt?
Well,
I'm glad somebody's got their priorities right in this whole situation.
Oh, it's nothing. Those Imperial soldiers are
And you
so
think if the
arrogant.
Imperials were in any way competent at keeping a people occupied, they'd just be
What
yeah,
happened to
sure,
you
fuck it.
guys?
Have at
Could've
all
went to
the
the
pubs.
castle?
Nope. When we came back from the river, this place was crawling with soldiers. They won't let us leave the village.
We heard there's a secret passage in the pub, so we wanted to find you and ask about it.
This seems like the sort of thing that we should
I
definitely
see.
loudly discuss,
If
like
that's
right
what
in
you
front of a
think,
soldier outside
I'm
the
the
door.
one to help you.
And why do we even have to find her and ask her? Could we not have just
Thank you
searched
so much.
the pub? How hard can it be?
No problem. I'll go back and open it up for you. Meet me back. at
It's
the
just
pub.
gonna be
Ready to
pull
leave,
one
okay?
candle on the wall or some shit. It
Got it.
always is. Anyway, what's with the small child?
I don't know. That's the child that the soldier was being a dick to, apparently.
Ah, what are you gonna do? I was half expecting that to be another one of the family tree quest people, but yeah. I'm gonna have that suspicion for the whole rest of this game, aren't I?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, you are.
Thanks, Anna.
Real subtle.
Reblis, watch over the village, okay?
I imagine one in every 10 or so people who sits in that one chair is gonna have some very unpleasant surprises
I'm
with their
more worried about
drinks.
What's going on at the city?
Be careful.
Also, there's 3 stools at the bar that are right in front of that thing. That just seems like it's really asking for trouble.
Right, so now that we're at the Cloud Passage, we can get a proper listen to the music here. It is very good.
Although when they said passage, I don't know if it was my naivete to the setting, but I was really expecting something underground. How can this be that much of a secret?
Oh, well, no. We used the secret passage to get out of the village, and now we're in the world map.
Anyway, I guess it's that 2000 to 2010 era where we still had like amazing area themes, but we still only had the one battle theme that everything had to fade out into. They never really figured out the whole dynamic mix thing.
I mean, to this game's credit, it has a lot of boss themes. It just doesn't. It just really only has like 2 regular battle themes.
Honestly though, like, there's a charm to non-dynamic soundtracks, if only because that just means that there's a much tidier conversion of what's in the game to what's on the soundtrack that you buy. It's now we have like everything's dynamic now, and on the one hand that rules in context incredibly, but on the other hand it means that you get a soundtrack and sometimes it feels like you need a mixing deck to enjoy it properly. Anyway, what the fuck?
Are you referring to the timer or this creature?
I am referring to the creature.
I don't know. It's kind of
Here you go.
it's a long bird weasel thing. Don't worry about it.
I'm gonna worry about it. I find it pretty worrying, all told. I mean, I am also kind of curious about the timer, but it seems like we're okay for now.
Ah, yes. So, once you reach Class 3, the game introduces the initial timer, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's the amount of time you have before you must play your first card, or else you forfeit your turn. And this is going to be the general sliding scale of how the game balances your power.
Right, so it's gonna give you more and more shit to do, but it's gonna give you less and less time, and make you start doing things in real time, and start making you play not only your initial card, but all the rest of the cards as well.
Not quite to that extreme, but yes, that's the right train of thought.
Well, if it's not going to that extreme, then the designers are cowards.
But yeah, that's where we're ultimately heading with this. The farther you get into the game, the more cards you'll have to start with, the more cards you'll be able to play on your turn, but the less time you'll have to actually make a move.
Like, yes, the cloud reeling machine. You know, those things. Pretty boring, really.
I like that I like the description of this as Diadem's beautiful clouds are being sucked into the reeling machine.
I don't know how any of this works. Like, all in all, I just have, like, about 50 questions. Although, like, you know, the practical application of it doesn't seem very complicated, at least. We just use the reeling machines to capture the elemental essence of clouds. Which makes perfect sense, other than, you know, the fact that we're surrounded by fucking clouds. I don't understand. Like, come on. Help me here. Make this make sense.
Well, you can't take these clouds. That's the clouds that we're standing on. Like, that's our bridge. So we have to get them from another source.
Right, we'd need to have clouds from literally anywhere else. Like, what's even with this place? I can dig the clouds as an aesthetic, but now we're just like, yeah, here's all these clouds, and people can walk on them, and we're just gonna go along with that, huh?
Yeah. I mean, why not? It's just clouds.
Well, whatever. It's a decent visual gimmick. It gives the artist something interesting to do. Definitely the kind of thing that they only really were able to still get away with this kind of thing in the pre-rendered backdrop era. Okay.
So, you know, just casually walking into a tank at the end of the Cloud Passage.
For, like, before I really properly passed this thing, I couldn't help but seeing it as like a coffin and pallbearers.
They even sent these out here.
See, I thought it was a giant crocodile first time I saw it.
So I guess they're just randomly wheeling out the heavy artillery against the town. Gonna intervene in some war crimes, huh? This seems normal. Also, like, what's it doing here? Like, would it not be coming along the ordinary roads along with everybody else? Like, and then come up via the river, maybe? Do they not have guns on all their airships? What's going on? And why is it covered in ropes and rings?
Well, it's a decorated tank, you see. You don't want to go into battle and not look stylish.
Okay, sure, whatever. I'm also a big fan of how, like, it's got these giant guns on the front of it, but they're, like, bolted onto the side of it rather than, like, running down the entire length of the thing, which is how you'd expect that kind of thing to work.
I like Gabari. Like I said, I like his attacks and his animations a lot.
Fire first!
Yeah, I can believe the power. Sometimes the animators of the dumbest things do the best work. Like, there's even an extent to which I've been sold on this dumb boat beetle tank thing.
Yeah, so the Iron Beetle has a gimmick. It is a very straightforward gimmick.
Is its gimmick that it will fucking shoot you?
So, yeah, its gimmick is that it will spend one turn casting an attack buff on itself, and then it will spend the next turn dropping 300 damage on you.
Right, that seems tactically suboptimal. I'm gonna go ahead and say that we should probably avert that a little bit.
But yeah, so, it's not too dangerous on account of it only being able, you know, it only acting essentially every other turn. But when it does hit, it will fuck your day up.
Chronos, go!
Especially if you are in the unfortunate position of, you know, having one armor card readily available.
Yeah, I can see that being a concern. Because it's I think we said right at the start that this game is like a half Slay the Spire, half poker. So yeah, that's a pretty straightforward, like, there's an identical concern in games like Slay the Spire, where you've got big attacks coming in and you just have no armor. Like, it's literally just not in the cards. Fuck you, you don't get to defend this turn. So I can relate to that. It's definitely something that you can manage with like setup, like hedging the right bets, playing the right numbers, having a longish term strategy. But yeah, this is the kind of thing that I can see turning around uncomfortably quickly.
Yeah, it especially gets rough when you start getting towards the end of your deck. So, like, his deck is 3 attacks long. So, like, he'll do the charge attack, charge attack, charge attack, and then he'll take a turn to shuffle. Your deck will generally run out somewhere around his third charge. Which means you will frequently have the last dredge of like 2 or 3 cards on hand for when he does his last big combo. So yeah, it can get very ugly right around that shuffle point.
Yeah, so I can't remember if this came up. Does this game require you to use all of the cards in your hand before shuffling?
No. You trigger a shuffle when your deck has 0 cards left.
Right. But all the same, you do end up kind of building up a pressure of potentially cards that you don't have a use for. Over time, if I'm understanding this right.
Use this.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the bottleneck here in that I really don't need to heal, but that's all I have on hand. And because he only attacks once every other turn, my armor cards are kind of useless right now. And I've definitely got some hand clogging going on.
Yeah. Incidentally, like I haven't really noticed anything particularly happening with regards to the face values of any of these cards yet. I don't know if I just haven't been paying attention, but it seems like we've not really been doing much number fuckery.
Yeah, well, right now, the problem is that, you know, when you have 2, it's very easy. You know, you have a pair or you have a 1-2 straight. And when you have 3, though, it doesn't. You have to do either a trip or a 3 straight in order for it to count. And then, once you get into like 4 and 5, you have a lot more freedom because that's when you can start dropping like 2 pairs, full house, stuff like that. Just the problem is that right now we're just kind of stuck in the position where it's like, oh, your only option for getting a combo is to do a 1-2-3 straight.
Can you not just like have a pair and a 1?
No, a single pair doesn't count.
I don't know how I feel about that. Like, I feel like there should be leeway in this kind of thing to not play the full amount of cards, but like, I guess that plays into the mechanic levels. Well, we blew that thing up.
Yeah, you know, got another finisher for Jella, got Gabari's class 3. Made out alright.
Phew. To think I'd be
Kind of
facing an Imperial
blocking the way
beetle.
forward.
These guys don't mess around.
Oh, don't worry, it was very considerate. It left us just enough space that we could
Why
walk
would the
by.
Empire bring their elite units out here?
I think the Empire might be kind of like cartoonishly evil.
We're almost there. Let's get
No.
going.
What makes you think that?
Well, I mean, there's the whole, like, you know, trying to unleash the evil god that's going to destroy the world. I think particularly matters whether they destroy 1 or 2 towns in the course of that. That's kind of the whole thing here, right? Anyway, that was fun. Let's just turn the fuck around and go back.
Ah, you know, I'm sure the people in the city are gonna be just fine.